Applying new technology to an old challenge was the innovative spark that saw Philip Townsend emerge as the successful runner-up in the 3-minute thesis competition at Flinders University recently. Drawing on past experiences in the remote APY lands of South Australia and Papua New Guinea, Philip identified the potential for mobile phone technology to support education services, and his research of that potential is now the subject of Philip's PhD thesis. A PhD thesis generally takes students about 3 years to complete, but last week PhD students at Flinders University were given just 3 minutes to capture the essence of their research as part of a national competition. And they had to do so with no props or technical wizardry in front of several hundred of their fellow students and university staff.
This PhD research, which links teacher education and emerging technologies, is likely to enable these Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander trainee teachers in remote communities to become deadly digital nomads.
The 8 finalists represented the 4 faculties at Flinders, with subject areas ranging from new plastic solar cells and autism spectrum disorder to the potential medicinal value of seaweed, bringing professionals home from abroad, and new good faith laws for Australian business. Philip said his PhD would explore the scope for mobile technology to be incorporated into remote teaching activity.
Years ago I was a teacher in the Uningal Pitjantjatjara Yankunytjatjara lands, the APY lands of South Australia. And so I have a background in working with people in remote locations. And another thing that happened is I've spent about 23 years working in remote locations in Papua New Guinea. And a few years ago, a new carrier came into Papua New Guinea and offered mobile services. And I was amazed at the spontaneous uptake by all sorts of people at all levels of society to use these mobile devices. And on returning to Australia, I saw the same thing happening in Aboriginal communities and thought, this is going to take off like a rocket. It's not going to be a case of a strange technology that's pushed onto people and then becomes a rusting wreck. This is spontaneous embracement, and so I thought this has a great potential for professional reasons.
Dr. Paul Willis, Director of the Royal Institution in Australia and one of 3 judges given the tough job of deciding the best presentations, said he continued to be inspired, not only by the innovation of their research, but the skill with which the competitors presented their findings.
You know, I've actually made up my own aphorism, and that is that the mark of pure genius isn't what you know, it's how generous you are with it. And people who can communicate their ideas, their findings, their knowledge, their research, they are the truly valuable members of the research community.
It was not only the judges who turned their minds to the best presentation. The audience also voted in the People's Choice Award, which was won by Jessica Viven, with her insights into the need to introduce good faith provisions into Australian contract law.
The concept of good faith comes up from the Greeks, as well as picked up then by the Roman era, and that's where France really picked up its concept. In China, which I refer to in my 3-minute thesis, is more the Confucius ideas. Everywhere else it seems to be very much a continental approach.
Flinders' 3-minute thesis competition was won by Julie Ann Fleet for a novel way to administer pain relief to women in labour, and was the subject of an earlier Flinders In Daily video. While the national finals of the competition are still to come in Brisbane next month, one thing is already clear: there are some fine young minds solving complex puzzles at Flinders University.